This station has interrupted its regular program at the request of the United States government to participate in the emergency broadcast system serving the Fort Wayne area. WOWO received this emergency announcement just moments ago. We have to verify, we did verify the special message code, and this is an emergency action directed by the Emergency Network and directed by the President. WOWO will remain on the air here in the Fort Wayne area to broadcast any emergency
superior jumped the gun. Happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun, mama. When I hold you in my arms and I feel my finger on your trigger, I know nobody can do me no harm because it's a warm gun, mama. Happiness is a warm gun, yes it is. Happiness is a warm, yes it is. God. But don't you know that happiness is a warm gun, mama?
Some karma's gonna get you, gonna knock you right in the head. You better get yourself together, pretty soon you're gonna be dead. What in the world you thinking of? Laughing in the face of love. What on earth you trying to do? It's up to you. Yeah, you. Some karma's gonna get you, gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Join the human race. How in the world you gonna see? Laughing at fools like me. Who on earth do you think you are? A superstar? Well, right you are. Where we all shine on, like the moon and the stars and the sun. Where we all shine on. Everyone, come on. Then some karma's gonna get you, gonna knock you off your feet. Better recognize your brothers, everyone you meet. Why in the world are we here?
Sexy Sadie, what have you done? You made a fool of everyone. You made a fool of everyone. Sexy Sadie, oh, what have you done? Sexy Sadie, you broke the rules. You laid it down for all to see. You laid it down for all to see. Sexy Sadie, oh, you broke the rules one sunny day. The world was waiting for the lover. She came along to turn on everyone. Sexy Sadie, the greatest of them all. Sexy Sadie, how did you know?
Sitting in the stand of the sports arena, waiting for the show to begin. Red lights, green lights, strawberry wine. A good friend of mine follows the stars. Venus and Mars are alright tonight.
Saturday night.
Doing it again. Some kind of happiness is measured out in miles. What makes you think you're something special when you smile? Childlike, no one understands. Jackknife in your sweaty hands. Some kind of innocence is measured out in years. You don't know what it's like to listen to your fears. You can talk to me. You can talk to me. You can talk to me. If you're lonely, you can talk to me.
Rock and Rio, Epic Journeyman. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent.
I am here.
Right on,
Yeah.
right on, right on. Hostler. 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 Can't get enough. Hostler. 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 Can't get enough. Music is mighty, mighty fine. Hostler. Hostler. Can't get enough. Does Mick Jagger have false eyelashes on, dude?
He looks a little,
What the?
shall we say, flamboyant here.
Mick is pretty flamboyant, man. I don't think there's doubt about that. I mean, come on now.
Man, when I was a teenager, there used to be these rumors about Mick Jagger and
David
Rod
Bowie.
Stewart and David Bowie. Remember that?
I don't think they're rumors, man. I don't think they're rumors.
There was
Maybe
some
the correct term is flamboyant.
there was some thing about somebody's stomach getting pumped because there was so much.
That's Rod Stewart. Yeah, that was like a big thing in the 7th grade, 8th grade for you. You're hitting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a thing. You know, I heard on the San Diego radio station, yeah, the morning zoo show like every city does, right?
Yeah.
And they have like 3 people doing their thing. And the call-in thing was one of the guys. It's called Encounters of Greatness. And one of the guys that called in was somebody who had a 3-way with Rod Stewart. And so he had met Rod Stewart at a bar with his wife, like not Rod Stewart's wife, his wife. And they were there in Solana Beach or something.
Yeah.
And so they go out and they end up going back to his hotel room or house or something over there. And the next thing they're getting it on, one thing leads to another, right? Him and the wife, and Rod Stewart starts doing him. At some point, that's his encounter with greatness story. And the thing is, he was convincing, man. I don't doubt it, man. I just don't. It sounds like exactly the kind of thing that would happen. I'm not judging. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Well, it fits, like him and
there's
Mick
nothing-
Jagger, same thing.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with eyeliner per se. I mean,
No,
I
exactly, but-
I wore eyeliner sometimes.
Well, and Mick's like really a compassionate
I'm
guy.
not
You
talking
ever see him,
about.
like talk to his
no,
daughter?
no. Hold on.
He's
I ain't talking about eyeliner. I'm talking about false eyelashes.
Okay.
Okay, he's wearing false eyelashes. So listen, eyeliner in the 80s, lots of fucking dudes wore eyeliner.
Oh yeah, the
I-
hairband era. Yeah.
Did you?
I actually know someone who has permanent tattoo of eyeliner,
See?
and yeah, he's a rock star.
See?
So
There you go. So
Yeah, I don't
actually,
think that
he
part-
actually
I'm
had
not
his eyelids tattooed.
I'm not
to
see.
look
I'm not
like
saying.
permanent
I'm not saying. You
permanent black lines.
look at. I'm not saying you shouldn't wear eyeliner. I definitely don't think you should be wearing lipstick or lip gloss, and I don't think you should pencil in your lips and wear false eyelashes. That I just gotta say, you've gone over the fucking line, son. You know what I mean? Back then, anyway.
The eyeliner line. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing
I guess
is,
that's
like,
the
thing
start. Is that the starting? That's like how you get weaseled into it. It's, like
it's the
first-
it's the gateway thing.
It's the
right?
gateway.
It's the
Starts
gateway.
eyeliner.
It's the gateway to cross dressing. Is that?
Yes,
It
that
might
starts
be.
the eyeliner. Next thing you know,
It
you're
fucking very
going
well
full trans. Yeah, it
could
might
be.
be, man.
It could be if you just don't go any further. I'll do
David
the
Bowie. That's where he started. That's where he started. You're not denying it.
Do the
Ziggy
eyeliner.
Stardust. I mean, it started there.
Somebody's
Could be.
certain bands and shit. Dude, I'll wear the eyeliner, but I'm not wearing the fucking.
It's like wearing the dress, right?
Not,
Yeah, it's
not
like-
wearing the dress, man. You know what though? What's his nuts from fucking the band I hate the most? Twisted Sister. He wore the dress, didn't he? That is one ugly motherfucker, isn't it?
He is, man. He's actually he's like the Frank Zappa of our era in a way. Not as smart as Frank, because Frank Zappa is
And
incredibly
then
intelligent.
it wasn't
But
bad enough.
he's actually, he's pretty. If you listen to him, it's pretty interesting what he has to say.
Man,
he's
I'll tell you right now, if
the
I had
counter of everything you think.
dude, if I had a dog with a face like that, I'd shave his ass and teach him to walk backwards. That fucking
Right.
dude. But listen, it wasn't bad enough. Okay? Why don't you just scream around with your hair and fucking whatever, in your band? Why you gotta do that? And then after that, he went full on fucking face piercing and like weird braids or whatever. Like he's got some
We got to
fucking
talk about the nose pierce thing. Man.
cornrows or whatever.
Yeah, no, we got to talk about the whole nose pierce, cow pierce, nose pierce thing at some point today, I think, because that's a weird one. It's becoming more popular, and it only means one thing. It really that's all it means. It's like, oh, come on, man. Why would you advertise that? I guess I have to do the spoiler right now. If you have that, it means you're engaged in oral sex. That's what it means, right? Why would you advertise that? It's like having the tongue piercing thing back in the day, but worse, because at least the tongue you can kind of hide, right? No, you're basically walking around the world saying, that.
Well, what about if they
That's-
got what about if they got a tramp stamp too?
Oh God, man! I just want to hope their dog's okay. I guess hope their dog's not getting abused. I mean, I don't know, man, because it's a thing, it's a thing, like the pets those people have too.
I'm trying
That
to
was very loud.
I'm trying to stop it at an appropriate moment. And I think I found one.
They're talking. Pollination's talking about the Frank Zappa AI image of the shot of Turin. Yeah, it's totally Frank Zappa. You guys seen that?
Yeah,
The
I've seen
AI
it.
image of the shot of Turin. It looks exactly like Frank Zappa.
Yeah, well, Frank Zappa, molded his mustache to be a certain way. He looks a
Right.
certain way because he, styled his, mustache and all that. But look at here. There's Mick. Look at him. I caught him right at a good moment there.
I don't know if it's a good moment. It's a
Well,
moment.
no, I'm saying, for some people, it might be a good moment. I mean,
Looks like
maybe.
he's about to swallow that microphone whole.
Look at him. I don't know, man. It's the ChillumiNatti, ladies and gentlemen. What do you expect? What do you
Right.
expect?
We're not trying to be serious.
All right, I let him free. There you go. There he goes, Mick Jagger. I saw this fucking video, you guys. Literally, it was a video of AC/DC, and the thing that caught my eye, all right, was it said AC/DC, whatever the fuck song it was, but it was Angus Young, and he was like in motion. The picture, he was in motion with his skinny legs, wearing those schoolboy shorts, you know, like he always does. Except for he's like 75 fucking years old, dude. He's got like white hair hanging down. And then over on the side is Brian Johnson with this fucking giant beer gut, fucking singing the old songs or whatever. And I'm watching the audience, you know, and I'm looking at the audience and I'm going, what the fuck is going on here? Do you want me to dig this video up and show it to you? It's literally, when you see this video, you're going to go like, have a drink.
Well, they're old, man.
I know. Well, the thing is, when you hear music and you don't see the motherfuckers, and so it's, you know, you still remember them how they were. You know what I mean? I was shocked. It was like this time when I knew this guy for, you know, I don't know, 9 months, and he had a ponytail, you know, and then one day he showed up with no hat, and the fucking dude was bald, man, from here back. He just had the ponytail. Everything, he was like, you know, he was bald. It shocked me. Well, that's how
full Manchu.
That's what I'm saying. That's how shocked I was when I saw this AC/DC video. And the thing that bothered me was like, they got like, I swear to God, it's like, it's obviously Angus Young uses Marshall stacks or whatever. And there's like a Marshall stack. But there's literally the wall behind them is all Marshalls. It looks like a Marshall stack, like giant stacks of Marshall amplifiers. But it's clearly not amplifiers. All right, because the volume on this video is such that it's clear that it's a set or whatever. I mean, I don't have a problem with it being a set. It's just, I don't know, man. I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, can you fucking imagine what it might be like to be somebody that was in a band that was that big, and you were in that band in your fucking prime? In other words, you were like 30-something years old, you know, you're all fucking, you know,
You made it, you have a number one album,
fucking
whatever, yeah.
thousands of people in front of you just going boom, boom, you know, and then you get to be that age, and you know, you're playing a county fair or whatever, and you're fucking 7 years old.
Well, that ain't cool. Well, I mean, it could be cool if you were.
I'm just saying, at one point you're huge, and then the next thing you know, man, dude, you're 70 years old running around in schoolboy shorts. I'm just saying.
Ride the bus on over the gig, you know. You know, the thing is, like a Marshall stack, for people who don't know, and I think there are people probably in the audience today. I mean, a lot of people are a little older and they know, but some of the younger people don't understand like what that means. It's not. It's like the bling of the day back then. In other words, it's so expensive and it's so loud and it's so good. Like the quality of it is so good, right? That's like a currency,
Jesus.
you know, in the rock world. I mean, if you had a stack of Marshalls, man, I mean, it doesn't mean that you're you know, that, it doesn't mean you're even good. It just means you're rich. It means.
All right, hang on, man.
So most people don't realize is that when you have, you know, 12 or 16 Marshalls stacked up, that most guitar players are actually only playing through one.
Right.
maybe two.
Yeah, they can only hear one.
That's what I mean.
They have to have yeah, exactly.
Because
They
those
can't
things
help
are
it.
so loud. If they had any more than like two behind them at like full volume, it would blow your eardrums out. Like you could
Oh,
not physically
100%.
take the volume of 16 Marshalls stacked up and full cranked up.
So I saw Bruce Springsteen in Melbourne, Australia, and he had.
I'm sorry.
But uh-oh, did I lose our connection? No, I
want you to. I got a video here of AC/DC.
Yeah, yeah. No, people don't understand. Need to see it. You have to see it to believe it. You have to. If you've been there, it's something else. But the people who play, they don't hear that stack. They totally have their monitors playing, so they can't. If they're
Here,
directed
let me
to
play
that,
this,
they
let me
can't.
play this video now. Here. Look at the gut on homeboy. Man.
They all look like they're having cardiac arrest.
Dude, I swear to God, man.
He's
Please.
had that gut for years, though.
I
He's
know,
always had
dude,
that.
Yeah, but I mean the way
Retire,
they
man.
they look like they're fighting off a stroke. man.
When can you not just, dude, listen to me. When can
Brian
you,
Johnson always looks like he's fighting off a stroke.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true.
dude,
Yeah.
when can these dudes just go fucking kick it at their house? I mean, why do they got to come out and do this? Why don't they just kick it, man?
They do it for the fans.
Why
man.
don't they just kick it and just go, they could just kick it and go, remember when we used to fucking play in front of 50,000 people, dude?
They do it for the fans, Jimmy.
Well, I got to give ACDC
I wish
a lot
I
of
could
credit.
listen. I wish I could find the video that I was talking about, so you could see what I was talking about. But I can't because it'll take too long. But listen,
Well, ACDC did something impressive. They admitted the truth about rock and roll concerts. They said early on, even, it's all about the downbeat and the guitar strum, and that's it. It's not complicated. That's all it is, right?
I don't know what they said, but I remember when Angus Young came on the radio one day for an interview at the rock station. I think it was KSJO. And they were asking about the music, and he goes, we just like to make music you can drive to. And I don't know, man, you listen to those albums, that's definitely some driving music, man. Especially those
the
originals.
funny part is that iteration of AC/DC you just showed us is not really AC/DC.
No,
It's
this
just-
is fuck.
It's Angus and Brian, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't even play. Yeah,
Malcolm Young's not. He's retired. The drummer's in jail, and
Malcolm's
I don't know,
dead.
the bass player might still be around, but
There's something profound about saying the drummer's in
Malcolm's
jail.
dead, man. Malcolm Young is dead.
Oh, the original vocalist, yeah.
No, not the. Well, yeah, that's Bon Scott.
well, Bon Scott, yeah,
Yeah,
he died.
Bon
years
Scott.
ago.
Malcolm Young's dead too. But
Malcolm Young's dead. I didn't know Malcolm Young's dead.
Malcolm Young was all fucked up about Bon Scott dying because they were good friends. Like he never recovered from that shit. He was an alcoholic. I mean, they all, obviously they all drink, but he never recovered it.
Well, they're from Australia. It's kind of like you're born into it, right? You're born with a
Well,
beer in
Bon
your
Scott was a Scotsman. I think that's probably his last. Like he used that last name, Scott. But
hand. Hey,
he's not the only Scotsman. Lots of Scottish vocalists for some reason. They seem to sing well. Some of them dudes. Rock Rio, are you there?
Yes.
Did you see the original?
with Bon Scott? No.
Yeah, I did.
That was I was too young at that point.
You were too young. Were you too
Well, he
young?
died in what,
Too
like
young- too young for the young.
76 or
Yeah.
something?
Were you too young to fall in love?
I was I was single digits when he died, so
Well, I saw him live. Definitely. And back then, no one had tattoos, really. Like regular people. People in the road.
No, hardly anybody.
Yeah, but he did. And he had tattoos on the insides of his forearms. And he did this thing with his mic cord and he'd stick his arm out and he'd like flash his tattoos. And I think that was the first American tour, and that's when they started doing the thing where Angus would get on his shoulders and run around. They'd run around with Angus on Bon Scott's shoulders. Yeah. I
I can honestly say I went to Australia in the 80s, and that was the first time that I saw, like, culturally, a bunch of people with tattoos and piercings. Like the punk rock scene was kind of doing that in America, but that was the first time I saw it, like, in a wide scale way. And I think, you can honestly give, I think, Australia some credit for making that a norm, a social norm throughout the world to have tattoos and piercings, because that was it really was pioneered there. Like it was common there, but it wasn't here at all. Unless you were a punk rocker, spikehead guy, whatever.
No, it was
Back then,
it was rolled out in earnest in Hollywood in the 90s. They started parading around a bunch of people with sleeves, like specifically good-looking women with sleeves for some reason. It
just sounds awful to me.
caused this whole it caused a whole no, seriously. I mean I was down there then, so I remember it before it was like it is now. Back
Well,
then
the movie
it was
Tattoo,
nobody.
right, with Bruce Dern, right? That was an '80s movie, wasn't it? That made that, segue. That made it acceptable with the body art at that level, where it's like a big deal. Where it was okay to do your whole body like that. Because it's an erotic feature as well. It's it wasn't X-rated or anything, but it might as well been. It was close,
Well,
yeah, but there was this whole segue with the '80s, where in the '80s Australia had a lot of people with tattoos and piercing, but it wasn't popular worldwide. And then, like you said, in the '90s, and probably in part,
what I'm
to
telling you is they
Hollywood's
rolled that shit out in the 90s, and they
90s,
started
yeah.
doing it with good-looking models in Hollywood. People, and there was a whole thing, and the next thing you knew, everybody started getting tattoos. It was weird, man. Just only because back then, it was like instantaneous. It's for some reason it caught fire, and lots of people have body art now, right? So it's a normal, regular thing at this point, right?
And the tramp stamp got popular.
And you're no stranger to pain when you got tattoos, are you?
Well, I mean, people who years ago used to have tattoos. It'd be like a sailor might have a little something from the Navy on him or something like that. But it wasn't like full body coverage. People didn't get murals painted on their bodies back then. It was a sign of either military or prison.
Yeah, pretty much. And if someone had a tattoo on their neck, they were like a stone cold murderer. Now it's just
or a little swastika on their forehead, right?
Yeah. Well, so now it's what's really weird too is when I was up in Colorado, and there was a bunch of people in the that would come to that area to go to the hot springs, and it was interesting because there's a lot of European people that would come there, specifically Eastern European, and you didn't see any tattoos on them. They had none. You could see tattoos on the people, high and low, even on the neck. It's like some 70-year-old lady's got a fucking fresh tattoo on her neck, butterfly or whatever. No, seriously, I'd see people all the time in there, and I'd trip on it, man. I was like, damn, it's such a trip that in America. Listen, and believe me, by what I'm saying, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with tattoos or having tattoos or body art or whatever. Everybody's got their individual thing going on, but I'm just saying, when you got sleeves and nobody else does, then people go, wow, look at them sleeves. But then when everybody has sleeves, this becomes a normal thing. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, pull somebody aside. Wow, you got sleeves, man? Ooh, let me take a look at your forearm. Oh, shit. Look at that work. Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes like anyways. But it's funny how it got rolled out in America, though. You know what I'm saying? Did you find that interesting?
Yeah, well, I think that movie Tattoo was a big part of it, actually. Just kind of timed in with it. Because,
you know what, dude? You can go back even
made it
further.
acceptable.
You can go back further, Epic Journeyman, from the movie. You can go back even further to Fantasy Island, because on that island, there was a dude, and that dude, he was little
Plain
people.
busty plain.
Exactly, little people, dude. See, it goes back
Little
far.
people with big tattoos.
Goes back that far. Now listen, enough is enough already with this. How do we get here? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. But,
But
listen,
Because
You know,
we're
it's
just
true.
chilling on Saturday.
We're chilling.
That's
But I think it's worth talking about in a way because it's true that tattoos were not a social norm in America until a certain point somewhere in the 90s,
it
right?
was in
Like
the 90s,
it,
dude. I mean, I'm telling you, I was there. I remember it like it was yesterday. Go ahead.
yeah, it just all of a sudden became more popular. You know what I mean? Like people had like small tattoos or the mom tattoo if you're in Navy or something, whatever. But that's a current thing. It always went on for back to World War II and beyond. But all of a sudden, somewhere around there, like the late 80s, early 90s, it became this thing where like it was cool. you
What
know?
about that? What about that book, The Illustrated Man?
Ray Bradbury? Yeah.
I know.
No, I was thinking
That's
about
a
that when we were
great
talking
book,
about it.
man.
Yeah.
No, but each tattoo had a story.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea behind. So if people are getting tattoos for that reason, that's the reason. Like every tattoo has a story behind it, right?
Yeah, everybody's got a reason for their tattoos, man. Like Rio's buddy, he tattooed his eyeballs, whatever, or his eyelids.
Don't do that.
yeah.
What about this shit where there's like people that shoving like titanium in their skulls, making themselves little horns and stuff?
That's a whole other thing, right? Yeah,
The fuck?
it's a whole other thing. That's-
I think the self mutilation when you get to that point where it's not just a little tattoo or a little piercing, and you've got gaping holes in your ears and a bone through your nose and horns in your head and all that weirdness. I think that self mutilation is like is either a mental or a spiritual condition at that point.
Dude, I swear to God, I was living down in Los Angeles in the 90s, and I was sitting there. And that's, like I said, at the time, people getting tattoos everywhere. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there with a friend of mine, and this other friend of my friend shows up, and they go to USC, University of Southern California. And this dude belonged to a frat. Okay? And this fucking dude had a brand. This fucking guy branded himself KAU on his fucking inside of his forearm, on that skin, on that tender skin down there. Fucking branded himself with that shit.
Like hot iron brand?
Like a cow.
Yeah. You see, there's got, like I said, that at that point it's got to be a mental or spiritual condition that causes that level of needing pain or needing to self-mutilate. That goes beyond artwork and into the edge of insanity.
Well, I know, and it's funny that you should say that, because I have something here prepared that I'm going to get into at some point, but it does revolve around this concept of insanity. Because, I mean, at some point, man, how do you, when you're looking in the room, how do you, and there's somebody in the room that's the crazy person, how do you know it's not you?
Well, there's something to this culturally that I just think we all miss sometimes. I mean, I don't even miss it, or we just don't appreciate it. Like it's the idea of war paint on Native American warriors, or it's the idea of the druids painting themselves blue. I mean, they paint their entire skin blue. Like it has significance. Or like the people who scar themselves in Fiji, right, with those tattoos, right, as part of their progress to reach that warrior class, right. And it means something,
They were honoring the blue chickens.
Maybe I don't know, but it's weird to me that like it's gotten to a point now where it doesn't mean any of those things. It has a meaning that's only really known to the person who made them.
Yeah,
and the intention seems to be to draw attention to it, to make someone ask, "Who are you?" Like I feel like when you play the song "Who Are You," right? That's kind of it. It's like an introduction.
Dude, you were saying
the whole thing is about introduction.
You were saying you're on the plane and you saw some wahine and you noticed a tattoo on her, and you started striking up a conversation about it, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See?
No, yeah. Absolutely.
See the epic
They became
journeyman.
great friends,
He's
yeah.
he goes deep, man. He just gets right in there, doesn't he, Rio?
Mhm.
He's like, he's quick. He sees that tattoo and like, interesting. I see. Noticed your
I want-
tattoo.
Epic, I have to ask, do you have a pineapple tattoo?
I do not have any tattoos.
Me neither. What about
Nope.
you, Rio?
I know it's a weird thing. You know, now
Not
in my
weird.
case, I have to point out.
Look at-
I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like as a young lad, I was introduced to like a nudist colony back in the day, like as in the '60s. I'm talking little kid, right? And nobody had tattoos. And it was kind of like a part of that culture. And I'm not a nudist today,
Well, listen, dude.
but I'm just saying, like that's part of that. So I wonder if like that's what impressed me to never want to get a tattoo, like because you see old people, you know what a tattoo's going to look like when they get old.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe
Matt.
that's what it was. You
Here's
know?
the thing. Back in the day, if you went out and got yourself a tattoo, you were a rebel. So, but now, the real rebel is the dude that doesn't have a tattoo. Because everybody's got one. So if you don't have one, and you rob a bank, Epic, you put a fake tattoo on.
Oh yeah, totally.
So that way you can undo your tattoo. Because if they thought you had a tattoo and you don't have it, there's no way you could have removed it. And then you couldn't be found guilty. But, you know, I'm just saying.
We got to talk about that assassin sometime today.
We
didn't talk
should
last
talk
time.
about
We
it.
hinted.
Yeah, we should talk about that assassin. Why don't you do it right now? Because we're coming up on the top of the hour in about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, we've got plenty of time. You know, there's a problem with it. There's the big problem. Like I look at it like a detective because I grew up as like a detective because I hunted submarines for a living, and that's kind of the ultimate detective job, right? Just looking for clues in the ocean and then you find them. And in this particular case, so you're geared to think that way. And I was flabbergasted
Rio,
by the
did
fact
you-
that when
wait a
the
minute.
guy was assassinated.
Hold it. Rio, did you ever say whether you had a tattoo or not?
I do not. I used to have a joke, though, that I have one on my butt cheek. It says salida solamente.
You ever heard the joke about I got your name tattooed on my ass? You get your name tattooed on your ass. YOUR name. And then you go in a bar and you say, hey man, I'll bet you $100 I got your name tattooed on my ass. What do you think about that?
Mine, it says exit only. So
Exit only.
Right.
All right, well just don't.
Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of jokes about this.
I know. Watch out.
But as far as this thing goes with this guy, right? Like so like everybody else, the first thing I heard was the immediate news reporting. And the immediate news reporting, because I was driving to Tucson, Arizona at the time, and I was listening to the radio, and it came up, and the thing was that it's called, and the wife said, well, there's a problem with lapse in coverage. And the newscasters were saying the first thing that I'm thinking at the time, like, well, they must mean that there's no coverage like for his protection. Like, you know, that's what they mean. Like it must be like there's no security detail, there's a lapse in the coverage because he's moving from here to here. But no, it actually meant the lapse in coverage to the plan for the health insurance, right? And it ties to this book, this 2010 book, right? And the names that are scrawled across the chambered rounds that were found later on, deliberately left there by the assassin, are the names of the book, right? You know, delay, deny, and it says depose. That the book is delay, deny, and something else.
I tell you,
But the point.
to be honest, I didn't look at one single thing about this story. I had no interest.
Well,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, here's what's interesting about it to me.
What's it?
Is like, well, because obviously, it's the wife. It's like an episode of Columbo. The wife obviously is the one who set this up. Obviously, 100%. I'll apologize profusely if I'm wrong.
Yeah, well,
but of course
you
it's the
mean
wife,
allegedly.
right? Of course it is.
But anyway,
Allegedly.
the thing
Right,
is,
exactly.
and the
There you
bottom.
go.
Here's the thing, and the bottom line of it. The bottom line of it is that it's instilling this idea that these people are going to start getting killed because of what happened during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident. They're going to start shooting these people, and they're going to. Biden's talking about pardoning Fauci, or whatever, or there's a rumor who, or
But not just him. Everybody that is on the hit list that Kash Patel put out in his book.
there
Because
you go.
Kash Patel is this crazy person is going to be the director of the FBI potentially.
Okay,
He's a good
whatever,
partner.
dude. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't look too much into the whole assassination. I mean, I've been hearing about it, you know, little briefings on the news and stuff, and they know the guy and they got video of him and this and that and the other thing. And then this other one now that's on the Columbo set. That's a whole nother situation.
I know.
You're right. I think it might be people on the hit list, you know, on the, that were involved in certain situations.
Yeah, the name of the book is Delay, Deny, Defend. It's from 2010, and it's about how the insurance companies don't pay their when they get called on to pay for their coverage. They don't do it,
Right.
and how you fight against it. And so there's 3 chambered rounds that had inscripted things on them, like on the casing. They were left behind, and they said delay, deny, and depose. And depose is in one of the names of the book, but delay, deny is. So obviously the guy had that in mind, except that I don't think the guy had it in mind. That it was like so like there's a lot of problems to the story. One is that the police already know that the guy came in 10 days ahead and he came on a Greyhound bus. Well, if you know he came on a Greyhound bus and he came 10 days ahead, you know who he is. Duh, right? The other thing is they recovered the phone, and they're not talking about what's on the phone yet. And the other thing is they found these casings that said delay, deny, and depose. And everything about it just reeks of a setup. And if you were Columbo, it's like a bad TV. It's not even a bad TV episode. It's a good Columbo episode. It's Columbo. It's just one thing that bothers me. You know, how who knew what time he was leaving the hotel, what hotel he was staying in? You know, because this is what had to happen, right? The guy was out there at 6:45 or 6 whatever in the morning. As the guy left one hotel to cross the street to the other hotel, somebody had to know he was leaving the hotel. Who would know he was in the hotel? His wife did, right? Of course. And then you know, he goes there and he gets assassinated, and then you know the guy goes away on an electric bike and all this stuff and throws his stuff away in Central Park deliberately to be found later, right? It's like the whole thing is like this whole setup, and I feel like when I was talking about being punked last night, that's what I meant. Like this as part of it, like we're all being punked by this. This is obviously a bullshit story. Everything about the story is bullshit. Everything about it is bullshit. There's no question.
Do you think this is a faked death to go hide on an island somewhere?
Well, I'm not saying that, but it's possible. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that's the level it is. It's like there's so many things about it that are just wrong. There's no way.
It's
There's
fucking
no way.
Mr. Mustard in the library with the fucking candlestick. That's what it is.
I got to start off and come back. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
You there, Rio?
Yeah, I'm here.
I had no interest in this dude being assassinated. And it's like I'm so deadened to people being shot and killed. I don't even trip on it anymore. It's just like information. do you find yourself even giving a fuck about any of this anymore? Like when you hear the heinous shit that goes on.
I found the fact that you know who he was mildly interesting. Like
yeah, but I don't even just mean him.
But in the general scheme of things, no, not really.
I don't even mean him. I'm just saying in general. You hear about this disaster. 1,000 people are dead. You know, you hear about this. Bunch of people got shot. School shootings. All this shit. I mean, at what point don't you get deadened to the point where it fucking means absolutely nothing anymore? Which is why people don't care. How many fuckers did you kill? How many fuckers did you kill in any video games that you played?
Oh, tens of thousands probably.
Okay, so you don't give a fuck about
Hundreds
any of them.
at least, right? Not thousands.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you don't give a
exactly.
shit about any of them, do you?
Well, no,
I mean, it means
not real.
nothing. I mean, you just go. It's just like, and that's it, right? It means absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah, it's not
It's the
real,
same thing.
But it's
Right.
It's a whole different thing about shooting people in a video game and then pointing your gun at another human in real life.
Not really.
Yeah.
There's really not much difference at the point that you've killed thousands of people in a video game, but that's not the point. What the point is that you're deadened to that. In other words, it means
You're
nothing.
desensitized, yeah.
Right, you're desensitized to it. And so we get desensitized to it. And like what I'm saying is when I hear about this fucking guy getting shot, it means absolutely jack shit to me. It means nothing. It means something to his family. I mean, it means something to his friends. It means something to the people that he knows, but to us, it's just a story. It's like that song "Dirty Laundry."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
100%. You know, and the thing about this is like, there's people who look at him as like a Robin Hood kind of character, taking out the bad guy who's not given coverage. But that narrative isn't coming from the people who'd expect it to. It's coming from the far right side.
Isn't it
who want
almost-
to make it like it's a left side thing, and it's not.
isn't it almost like a
and what's
steam
weird
valve?
to me is like it's obviously the wife. It is, of
Are
course,
you
it
sure
is.
it's not
I'm sure
just a
it's- yeah.
steam valve for all the angst of all the people whose family members have been fucking, wrung over the coals in these for-profit medical situations where they were
Yeah,
getting
well, that's what is being turned into is this narrative of that, right?
not being
And-
turned
and
into. That's
I think
exactly
that-
what the whole purpose of it is. It's not being turned into it. That's the whole reason it's there. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying this story is to just like we were talking about last night. Fucking perfect example of cognitive warfare. Okay,
We're being
This is-
punked. We're being
no.
punked. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no one's being punked. This
we
is
are.
a story that's being pumped, so it inflames or either inflames a certain group of people and another group of people. They'll go, "Oh yeah, that motherfucker deserved it," and then they don't fucking go out and do anything. It's a fucking dude. It's a wag the dog. Okay, maybe somebody died. It's awful. It's terrible, isn't it? But isn't it a
Well,
steam-
yeah, but the thing is, the story is the actual measured currency that's being used here, right? That's the value, right? Is the story.
The
and
value
the story
is
is-
what we
is-
talked
is
about last
captivating
night
people.
in this story, man. Okay? Think back last night. Try to remember. I know there was a lot of information that came forward, but think about it. Think about this story. And think about every other motherfucking story for that point, for that matter. You know what I mean? I mean, when... you remember when, people used to say, you would talk about something and someone would say, "Oh man, no, that's just a distraction. It's just a distraction." Really? Well, everything's a fucking distraction, isn't it? Everything's distracting everybody from, looking at the real situation. Isn't
Well, we
it?
talked about cognitive dissonance, and this is a perfect example of it, right? Because the cognitive dissonance is they said they know the guy came in 10 days later in a Greyhound bus. They said the guy was staying at this hostel. They said the guy had all these, footprints basically going from the time he arrived in New York City to the time he assassinated this guy. Well, if they know all that information, they know who he is. Duh, right? I mean, that's the cognitive dissonance aspect of it. They know who he is. If they know all that, they know who he is, right? They have his phone already. They know who he is. Why are they trying to, parlay this into some kind of news media round that makes us waves and keeps us all interested, like an episode of Columbo?
Well,
when
because
they know who he is.
maybe they know who he is, maybe they don't. Maybe there's a list of like 9 guys that they all paid a fee to have this whole idea generated so they could all escape to their, wherever they're going.
There aren't 9 guys who came in on a Greyhound bus and stayed in that.
Not
youth
talking about that.
hostel
I'm saying
in New York City.
there's 9 more guys that haven't gotten killed yet, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, okay. Now that's the other side of the aspect of it. Yeah, but as far as the identity of the assassin, they obviously know who he is. If they have all that information,
I know,
they know
man.
who he is already.
What I'm trying to say to you is, that's one guy. He's still at large. I mean, how many times does something like this happen and the guy's at large? Normally, when something like this happens, the guy dies right somewhere, getting in a hail of bullets because there's no court for it, But this guy didn't. So what does that mean? He's on his. This is the new this Washington D.C. sniper.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I was going to go with what's his face, Son of Sam. Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
listen. It's the top of the
Yeah, he's
hour.
on loose. He's on a loose. He's out there.
That's what I mean. It's the top of the hour. So let's take a quick break. Rockabilly, you still there?
I am.
I forgot to send you that Greg Reese video, and it's fucking. In order for me to dig it up, I gotta go through a whole bunch of changes. So I could try to do that. It's just gonna be a hassle.
So here, I just checked my Fortnite stats. In the time I've been playing, I have killed 29,440 opponents.
There you go. Rock and Rail is a stone cold killer.
Yeah, I know,
Isn't
right?
he?
It's like the population of the place where they ate all those cats.
It won't, and I guess it won't be that long before I hit 30,000.
Well, dude, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You're like on Haitian status.
Well, you got to figure you average like 5 eliminations per game, right? So
It's been a while. It's probably been about a decade since I played any video games.
yeah.
Oh, dude, video games are really good now, by the way.
Well, no, I
After-
take that back. I did play video games when you sent me those.
Oh, the VR thing? Yeah,
The VR.
No, dude, it's so much better now.
Yeah, sorry about that. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
let's
really
ta-
good.
Let's take that break, eh? What do you think? Now it's time to take the break.
Sure.
You guys ready?
It's time.
All right, I'll make some coffee. All right, lean back, chill. We'll be back in a minute. It's Saturday night, ChillumiNatti. Now, what are all these ads everywhere for self-help? All of a sudden, self-help and getting psychiatry or psychology over the internet with video calls is becoming a big thing. Seems because every single time I go on here and I get a song ready to play, I see this ad with this young man in such stress, rubbing his head and typing on his phone. It's horrible. Needs a holiday. We'll be right back.
Let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday. Let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday. Exchange the cold days for the sun. A good time. Let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday. Let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday. Let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday. Exchange your troubles for some love. Wherever you are, let me take you far away. You'd like a holiday.
This is Saturday night, ChillumiNatti. My name is Jimmy, sitting here with Rock and Rio and the Epic Journeyman. Thanks for joining us.
Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter when the promise of a brave new world unfurled beneath the clear blue sky? Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter when the promise of a brave new world unfurled beneath the clear blue sky? Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? The flames are all long gone, but the pain lingers on. Goodbye, blue sky. Goodbye, blue sky. Goodbye. Goodbye. Well, well, well.
Here's Robin Trower and Paul Rogers.
I am just a simple man working on the land. Oh, it ain't easy. I am just a simple man working with my hands. Oh, believe me. Freedom is the only song sings a song for me. Oh, you can't fake it. Freedom is the only thing means a death to me. Oh, we're gonna make it, child. If we stand together, I am just a simple man trying to be me. Oh, sometimes it ain't easy. I'm just a simple man trying to be free. Oh, baby, believe me when I say freedom is the only song. Sing a song.
They're on me now.
Uh-oh.
Too bad. Too bad.
I have to correct my earlier stat, Jimmy. I did not realize that was not my full career. That was only a partial Apparently, I've killed 47,416 people total,
Like I said,
and that's only in one game. That doesn't count the other games.
that's what I'm saying. You're a stone cold killer.
Yes, that's not counting Call of Duty and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, that's just Fortnite stat.
Just
So
Fortnite.
if you add in PUBG and Call of Duty and some of the other games that I've played throughout the years, I'm sure it's close to 100,000. It's got to
Well,
be.
even Half-Life, like Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 probably was the
Oh
best
yeah,
example.
I guess that doesn't count
you
like
kill
zombies.
thousands of people. Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
count all the zombies in World War Z or any of the other games that I've ever played. So yeah,
Well, but they're not people in Half-Life or World War Z, right? That's the whole point. Like you're not killing people. And the Combine, I guess, in Half-Life you are, but you're not kill. Most of the time, you're killing the people who take over the face huggers and stuff, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
still you're killing something, right?
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of entities. Let's put it that way. It's a lot of entities you're killing. Yeah.
I still have not drawn a weapon on another person. I have never had the need to or the desire to. So
I have never drawn a weapon. I've had weapons drawn on me. I've been shot at, like multiple times. Been shot at.
no, I've been
I've
shot at
never
a few times, but
Yeah, I've never drawn a weapon in anger at somebody ever.
Did you know that winos ain't afraid of nothing
Makes sense.
except running out of wine?
Yeah. Right. I mean, no. I've encountered a lot of really dangerous situations, and I've been in a lot of situations where people not only threaten to kill me but kill themselves, like weapons. And I've never once had the resort to pulling a weapon on somebody.
well,
And
I mean,
I think
don't
I'm
get me
thankful for
wrong.
that.
If I honestly felt my life was threatened, then I would absolutely.
No, I mean I've been in war zones. Like I've
know.
been actually people, the hostile enemy shooting at me, but I haven't had. Well, in those cases it was worse because I didn't have a weapon. Like we weren't allowed to carry a weapon as contractors in Iraq.
All right, listen.
So they're shooting at you.
Listen,
it's
there's
kinda
a whole thing going on now. And, back in the 90s was the beginning of the self-help generation where everybody was getting clean and sober from the 80s. And, it was pretty much in the public eye. So lots of people started getting into, self-helping themselves with 12-step programs, getting clean and sober, this kind of thing. And it pretty much got to a place where so many people were involved in self-help and these 12-step programs that this lexicon of self-help started to come into view every time someone was in an interview or whatever. Everybody all of a sudden started talking about their feelings in an open way. Because like in these 12-step meetings and these programs, everybody shares their innermost feelings and so on and so forth with a group of people. But it's supposed to be an anonymous thing, a closed group where people don't say shit after they leave. You go there and say a bunch of stuff, and then everybody just all goes home. But then at some point, and after a period of time, when you get in a situation like that, where you're constantly going to these meetings and you're constantly hanging around people that are in the program or doing the same thing you're doing, then you get in this method of sharing these fucking feelings with each other all the time. And so that made it out into this where, brings us basically to what I'm talking about, where we are today, which is everybody's feelings are getting hurt because of, you know what I mean? We're living in that type of society at this point where now it's been taken over to the extreme. And last night, what I was trying to get to when we brought that dude, the time traveler guy, on there. What I was trying to get to with him, because it took too long. I should have fast forwarded it because we only had a little bit of time left. I should have fast forwarded it to what he was saying, because the thing is when I hear that guy, I hear what he's saying on that interview, I think to myself, and correct, I don't know if you guys remember it, Rio and Journeyman, but he sounds like any guest that you might find on any late night talk show, radio show, telling a story about being a time traveler. But somebody's saying this dude is crazy. This dude is out of his mind. And so there's not just this guy, but there's a lot of people. There's people that say they see stuff, people that, remember the guy when and shot up the naval yard, said he was hearing voices and all this.
He inscripted it on his shotgun. Yeah.
Right. So
So
the thing is, what I'm saying is, who is making these diagnoses of these people? In other words, somebody at some point, someone's going through something and they go and talk to somebody. And the minute they do, they got a condition. And it has to be addressed. Okay, but who's to say that these people, when they're saying the stuff that they're saying, there's nothing crazy about them? In other words, they are seeing what they're seeing. They are hearing voices. They're not crazy. That's the thing. Who's making these decisions? Who's writing?
I've been at that shipyard, in Charleston where that happened. I used to be there. I was stationed in Charleston, South Carolina, when I was a subsailor. And the thing is, I've been at that shipyard multiple times. And the thing is, I have no doubt that guy heard those voices. None whatsoever. And I have no doubt that he really believed what he put on his gun. That he told him in his head what that was. Did it really happen? Well, that's another question.
Okay,
right?
Well, so the thing is okay. Let's just. I just want to set the stage just a little bit to give people some idea of how you could maybe see potentially that this is a thing, and that is that they've been doing this for a long time. This voice to skull and all this shit. They've been doing it for a long time. So there's no question about that. So,
Dr. Frey. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is who's writing the books that teach people to diagnose people with symptoms and to say, well, if someone says they see people or they hear voices, they're crazy. Who's the one that's deciding that? It's the same people that are testing people. It's the same people that are doing,
that are testing the voice to skull technology.
Exactly.
Look, I'll pipe in the voice into his head, but he's crazy for hearing it.
Right. Yeah. Rio, now you're smelling what I'm cooking. Now, so during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident on the Monday show that we used to do, and then on our weekly show, we got into a lot of psychology stuff because there was a lot of shit going on at the time. And we brought up a lot of different shit, and so the guy that we brought up, the other guy, he was classified as a schizophrenic. Okay, so I got a little piece here I'm gonna play, real quick, of a person. All right, and this person is identified as a paranoid schizophrenic. All right, but just take a listen to it and don't necessarily listen to it as you think the person's crazy. Just listen to what's being said, and then at the end, when I play this, ask yourself, is the person crazy? You guys ready? All right, here we go.
Never really realized as a child that there was something potentially wrong with me. I just thought that's one of those scary things that you have to deal with when you go to bed at night. The monsters come out, and that's really how I looked at it. Fast forward a little bit, I was in college and I started hearing the voices while I was taking a test. And that was the first time I had ever heard them during the daytime. The next couple years were really difficult. They started getting worse and worse. And I started seeing these shadows around. So eventually I went to see a psychiatrist, and they prescribed me some medication, which would be many, many years of me trying different medications and trying to figure out what worked for me. That time, they diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder, but a couple years later, they changed it to paranoid schizophrenia. It's very scary to know that at any time, something could happen where you're going to see something that maybe other people don't see, or you're going to hear something that other people don't hear. It's not 100% that I can predict that I'm going to have an episode today. It is going to happen sometimes. And that I think is just the nature of how the disorder affects me personally. But there are triggers that I have identified for myself, which includes like stress and feeling overwhelmed. I don't know how conclusive this is, but there's some information out there to suggest that smoking or vaping can reduce the side effects of antipsychotic medication. It keeps me calm, especially in high stress days. The internet has been very helpful in connecting with people with schizophrenia. A friend of mine found me on my Facebook page. He's an artist, and he actually made an illustration of me. These are the medications that I take. There's books there because he knows that I'm obsessed with reading. It was very difficult at first because I didn't have insurance. My first doctor was trying to work around that. And at the time, the medication that worked really well for me did not have a generic. It's taken me pretty much since I was 26, probably till I was 31, to get the right mix of medications. So these are the two medications I take at night. Zyprexa is the antipsychotic, and the Ambien is the sleeping pill. I do come out here a lot. I love the flowers. I grew up in this house, so it's a good environment for me. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, but it's all so beautiful, so I love it. Come here.
So she spent 10 years getting the medication right.
Well, what struck me, Jimmy, is, and you played the perfect song for it, is when she said, not only do I hear voices, but I see the smoke and the shadows. That's not natural psychosis. I think that's more like demonic manifestation.
That's what I mean. Who's saying who's crazy is the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the idea is that it's real, right? So I'm not advocating for schizophrenia. I'm just saying, like, if some people could perceive things that other people can't, and if you can see those things, they just might be real.
That's what I mean. What they're saying, but they say people are crazy. Like that other guy from last night, the time traveler. They say he's crazy. You know what I mean? But the thing is like we don't see what they see, doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, in other words, I've never had a UFO experience. I've never seen an alien. Okay, but that doesn't mean they're not there. Okay, just because I haven't seen it or it doesn't happen to me doesn't mean somebody's crazy. In other words, I talked to you guys. Before a while back about this homeless lady. I used to go to this one coffee house. There was this homeless lady with dreads and this dog. I used to see her. Just fucking give her money all the time, I see her, you give her money. I mean, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying I give her some money is what I'm trying to say. And so over a period of time, we'd be talking, after a period of time we started talking and stuff. And she used to say this shit about they're hitting me, and she would take her hand like this, and she would put it behind her head, and she would go, they're hitting me and this and that. And she was telling me that she lived on the street because they were hitting her with signals. Okay.
Yeah, and even with the modern tech, right? The guy used to say they're watching me through the TV. That's not entirely crazy.
I know. That's what I mean.
That's
what I mean.
We have this whole thing now. There's this whole culture of TIs that have come out, and we know the technology exists. and there's a bunch of people who claim to be affected by it. That it doesn't make them crazy. It just makes them affected, right? And even someone who sees the shadow people, they're not necessarily crazy. They're just affected.
Somehow this.
Yeah, I think of it like how it was in the medieval times, right? Like in medieval times, it considers people witches or cursed or whatever, but oftentimes they weren't considered that at all. They were just out at the fair, at the gathering, people marketed their goods, and they'd be the fortune tellers, right? Because they saw something that people didn't see. Maybe they were respected for that, because they didn't have definitions like mental health back then, right? So I just wonder, like I think medicating people out of something,
that's what I'm saying,
isn't the solution.
Well,
That's
I personally would like to think myself as at least reasonably sane, and I have seen both what you would describe as a UFO on more than one occasion, and I've seen the shadows, and I've actually seen like actual demonic manifestation where things have gotten up and flown across the room, and the broken glass from the coffee pot is not imagination, because he had to sweep it up and put it in the garbage, and clean up the spill.
I'm with you
So,
on that, man. Poltergeist
you know,
activity, I've seen it. Yeah, me and you both. Exactly.
I'm not,
Zero.
I don't think I'm crazy for seeing that happen, right? But if you tell somebody, yeah, I was just sitting in my chair and we were having a conversation, this dude was in the doorway, and all of a sudden this coffee pot just got up and flew across the room. It sounds a little weird.
You're
but-
out of your mind, dude. And here's some Ambien.
Yeah,
Get the fuck
exactly.
out of my face.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
Fucking-
I know. I'm almost
and
real.
and that's
Just saying.
funny
I've seen it
because
too.
she said that too, right? And I take Ambien for sleeping, and Ambien is actually known to cause hallucinations. So
100%. In fact, was it RFK Jr. who was the guy who ran across Washington D.C. and ran into some monument or something back in the day? Like, we're talking like 10 years ago, because of Ambien.
Matt
Right.
says, not
It was
only do
him,
I hear
right?
voices, but I hear things in reverse. Yeah,
I saw a thing.
that's intentional.
There was a congressman did that too, but RFK Jr. did that too. I'm just cracking up on like how often this happens, and people ignore it, right? Like it's not that unusual, actually. And what
Well,
she's describing isn't
if
really
you
that
look
unusual.
if you look at the side effects of heavy metal poisoning, right? And we talk about the fluoride in the water, and the
mercury
lithium
poisoning.
and
Yeah.
the lithium particles in the rain clouds and all this other stuff. Is it any wonder that people are having like hallucinations? And not to that, and that's taking away from, not to mention the actual demonic activity that goes on on a daily basis. Why is it so hard to believe that people are seeing things that may or may not actually be there? Right? I mean, we got these drugs that cause hallucinations. We have spiritual activity that not everybody gets to see.
That's what I'm saying.
So why do they? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's crazy people out there, but
Listen,
maybe not everyone who's diagnosed as crazy really is.
This video, like I had this video set in a certain place, and somehow it bumped itself. But I'm not going to go back and replay it. But the thing is that what she goes through, this girl, every night she has to take this shit, and she says she tells earlier in this video she talks about she's taking 2 antipsychotics. No, an antipsychotic, an anti-anxiety, no, an antipsychotic, and 2 antidepressants.
Which are all known to cause hallucinations and
fucking hell, I'm just saying,
and-
it took them
and
10,
antidepressants, right? That cause suicidal tendencies.
and they took 10 years to get her on the right balance of this shit. And the thing about it is, dude, is like, what happened until they got the balance? Like, what condition was she in when the stuff wasn't how it should be? Like, they didn't find the right mix. Was she going like, what happens to? Does the things that people are having to take cause the exact same hallucinations and all this that like it makes it even worse. And like you were hallucinating before, but it wasn't a hallucination really. But now they're going to try to drug you out of having the ability to notice other shit that people don't see, drug you out of it, and then what happens to you then? I mean,
then maybe it really is just a hallucination.
that's what I mean.
You know,
Now you're
Well,
next thing you
Might
know,
be
you're
the wrong movie.
they add the drugs that end up causing hallucinations to nullify
dude,
the extra sight that you may have,
they put
right?
me on
So
that.
either way, you're still seeing things.
They try to cordon off different aspects. I'm thinking it might be the wrong movie, but is it Scanners? Is the one where they heighten people's ability to enter other people's psyche, right, and blow up their
Dude,
brain
I'm telling
essentially.
you this. Listen to me.
And so it's like it's almost like you're trying to hone in on an ability, and once you find that, then you want to turn it off to people who have that ability, right? In other
That's
words,
what I'm
like,
saying.
okay, we found it now, so now we want to turn that off.
Right, turn it
Right.
off. Like exactly, like get your ability that we got one. We got one that can see.
Yeah, exactly. So
Motherfucker.
we
We got
can
one,
see,
yeah,
exactly.
we got one that can see. You got it.
Exactly.
Put the sunglasses on.
Exactly, dude. And the thing is like, these. I listen. I'll tell you right now. Before I got clean and sober, let's just come to terms with it. I did a lot of fucking drugs, man. Okay, I've gotten high. I've taken drugs, and I've done the shit that makes you hallucinate. I've done plenty of all that. Including smoking angel dust. All right. So I've gotten high. I'm telling you right now, and I'm clean and sober now, and then I got cancer, and one of the things they gave me, they said, they want to help me quit smoking. They gave me Chantix, so I was taking that shit. Okay, I've never been so high in my life when I was taking that shit. I took that shit for
Yeah,
like
that stuff's
3.
not good, man.
I'm just
It's
telling you,
like permanently mind altering.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I took that shit for a couple of days and I quit taking it. And then later on, when the shit goes down, okay, they start finding out that people on this shit are literally going psycho. One person on this shit literally stabbed her husband to death with a fucking French knife, like a butcher knife, what everybody would say. And she called her friend on the phone, and she thought she was dreaming when all this was happening. There was and she called her friend on the phone, saying, "I just killed my husband," or whatever, blah blah blah, with a butcher knife. And she thought she was dreaming. There was another thing, something happened where somebody went fucking crazy inside of a church, doing some shit. And they were, Anyways, the point being, they took it off the market. And, there was a point where Kev Baker, because he's in the UK, and he had lung problems. And so Kev was going to get a lung transplant at one point. And so in order to get the lung transplant, he had to do what they told him to do. And so one of the things they told him he had to do was he had to quit smoking. Okay, so they gave him that shit. And thing is, man, I knew about that shit, and so did he. But there was nothing you could do. You couldn't say,
You can't say no, yeah.
You can't say no.
On that healthcare system.
No.
You have to do what they tell you.
Right, because if you said no, no lung for you then. So he had to do it, and he was on it for a bit, I don't know. It's some dangerous shit, man. These concoctions that they come up with. And you know what's really fucking disturbing to me? Is because I've played this video a bunch of times on this show. And it's about this dude who's a maverick brain or neurologist or some shit. Forget what he calls himself. It's a TED Talk. And he looked at over 10,000 fucking brain scans of people. And he came to the conclusion that almost all things that are wrong with people psychologically had something to do with a brain injury. Okay? And he basically puts forward in that discussion that anyone who's trying to do something to you with drugs is just throwing darts at a dartboard. They have no idea what they're talking about. I should just go dig that shit up now that I'm talking about it. You guys
Well,
want?
I mean,
you guys
I guess
want?
that makes sense.
You
though,
guys
in
want
a
me to
lot of
dig it
ways.
up?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
No, in other
because-
words, in other words, like a head injury could cause you to end up being a drug addict and alcoholic.
yeah,
Living.
a head injury could cause a lot of things.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
You know,
That's what I mean.
that could, it causes some people to end up being geniuses too.
Do you guys in the
Yeah.
chat room want me to dig that shit up or whatever? What do you guys want to do? Because we got some time left here, so I can dig it up.
Yeah, that'd
All right, let
be
me
interesting
see.
to take a look
Hang
at
on a
because I agree, right? So I think that most of the what's his name? It was Freud and who is the other dude with the smoking women in the it's Freud's
Bernays.
Bernays, right? Freud and Bernays.
Yeah, Bernays.
Ah, look at that shit. I typed in TED Talk brain scan Maverick and the fucker came right up.
See, there you go.
I swear to look, this is a 14-minute video. I mean, seriously, it's worth every minute if you guys want to go through it. I mean, I could skip through the whole background where he's stroking himself about who he is and all that, but I mean, it makes, it's not bad though. I mean, it's Saturday night. What the fuck, right? What else are you doing? You got anything else going on? All right.
Exactly.
Well, here we go then.
The Freudian and Bernays psychology, right? That, there's got to be a pill for that. Let's get you on a treatment.
Look at this shit, man. 11 years ago, 21 million views. 11 years ago, man. That's what I'm saying. Listen.
I mean, Freud and Bernays really truly are better living through chemistry. I mean, that's their term, right?
That's what, talk to Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary. Yeah. All right, here we go. You guys ready for this now? And listen, if you want me to stop it, just say something or whatever. Make some noise. If you want to comment about what he's saying. Because I think it's one of the most powerful. I mean, I'm just saying, if you know this, okay, if this is where he was 11 years ago, then where should we be right now? We should be someplace else besides doling out this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying these concoctions. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's like you could be standing next to somebody or driving in a car next to somebody that's sitting there and they're just taking their normal medications, and really there's nothing mind-altering about these medications in and of themselves. But somehow, when this gets mixed with that and this and that, now all of a sudden it's some other fucking thing. Completely. They could be fucking clearly hallucinating, standing next to you, you're talking to them, they don't even understand a word you're fucking saying. They're so fucked up on this shit. How do you know? Even anything, any of your relatives, you go visit grandma or whatever, and, she's taking like 9 things because something happened, you don't know. She could be fucking out of her mind, so hi, I'm just saying, man, that shit that I was on, that I don't take anything now. Occasionally I'll take shit, from, aches and pains or whatever, but I don't take anything mind-altering like that. I'm just saying that shit I was taking when I was sick, I was taking like 20 fucking pills, man. I was taking anti-anxiety medicine. I was taking this. I was taking that gabapentin shit. I was taking all kinds of shit. Okay? I was fucking high, man. I'm telling you right
Beyond
now.
high, right? Beyond high.
Beyond
I mean,
high.
I don't think people understand that. Like you're saying it, but I don't think people are appreciating it. Like, you and I and Rio are all musicians, right? And we've dealt with every kind of normal recreational drug there is probably in our lifetime. And I don't think it's it's something we should be ashamed of or necessarily, but it's a fact, right? But the things that you take when you're dealing with those things you're dealing with, going through cancer treatment, are way above that, right? Like the kind of psychotic inducing psychosis you can.
They gave me that shit.
Yeah, the stuff that they prescribe to you is far beyond eating a mushroom.
Dude, listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me.
Yes, I'm getting that, right? I mean,
imagine how they have to tranquilize your ass, okay, with this fucking, I forget what this shit was called. It's called Ativan, I think. They give you this shit, man, and And I'm pretty sure they give you more of it once you get there because you got to go stick your motherfucking arm out for a lethal injection, dude. And I don't know if you can dig what that means, man, or what you got to go through psychologically for that. All right? You got to stick your fucking arm out. It's called the infusion center. You know?
Yeah, they poison you to within an inch of your life, right?
Exactly.
Hoping to kill the bad stuff before they kill all the rest of it.
Right. You got to be high, bruh, to stick your arm out for that shit, bruh. Believe me. And the thing that makes it heinous also is because when you start going in there for your treatment, there's a bunch of other people that all come in there at the same time as you. And it's like a class, like, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, something like that. You're all in there, start at the same time. You're all in there together. Okay? The harsh reality of it is when you're in there and you got to go for there, you see all the same people because they're all there at the same time doing the same thing you're doing. And you see the other people and how they're just,
Withering.
yeah, falling apart in front of your eyes, man. Their fucking hair's falling out. They're getting all skinny and shit. It's harsh, man. Some harsh shit. I don't think people can even. I don't think you can even is how I'm describing it. I'm sure you feel.
Well, I mean,
you feel something.
I have not been in one of the centers myself, but just looking at the change in my mother when she was going through it. She got skinny and lost her hair, and she did not get psychotic, but it was obviously rough.
It's rough, dude. And if you know anybody that's gone through it, or any of that, look at, I'm here. Okay, I'm a testimony. All right. Okay, there's people, and close into my family, that got cancer also. And they tried to go holistic, and they fucked around a little bit too long, and then it was too late. So, I had to go and do it and choose to do it because I had something to go by. I had at least some sort of statistics and percentages that I could look at that were documented, not somebody's testimony or somebody said so, or, look, I put this oil on it and it went away or whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, there's so many different variations of what causes it. Is it, people get lung cancer from smoking, people get bone cancer from other things. You personally got irradiated by, frequencies, right? So,
Who knew?
And some people, it's just, they eat so much toxic food throughout their life that it causes cellular damage or whatever. There's so many different causes of it. So maybe the holistics does work for some people, but it ain't going to work for others.
It's got to be, the thing is, look at, man, and when it comes time for you and it's your last, resort or whatever, you're in that situation. People got to make decisions, I don't know what I'll do personally if well, let's not even get into it. I don't even know how we went down this road talking about me and cancer, but maybe somebody needed to hear it because I survived that treatment. I did.
Well, I think it's valuable because you went through that treatment. You went down the path that a lot of people might choose not to go through, right? You did it the way that people might be, not want to do nowadays because they don't trust the system, so to speak. But
that's what I mean.
As bad as people think the system is, there's times when it works, and it worked for you. And I think your testimony is valuable because of that. Because
I would suggest to anybody who wants to try the other stuff, do them both, right?
Well, yeah,
try them both because.
But there's time. There's time limitations.
Improving your health and what you're eating and what you're consuming on a regular basis can't hurt. If you're going through
prevention is definitely the best medicine.
Well, yeah, but if you're going through the chemical thing, keeping your health up is important as well, right? So
So listen.
don't fight yourself.
No,
You know,
there's nothing
you know.
wrong with that. And, and that's the thing. Like, I'll just say when in case why ever I went down this road and I'm talking about this, the one other thing I want to say is, so they didn't let me do anything to help myself, obviously, because they're trying to, kill everything. So the only thing they would let you do is take one multivitamin. Okay. But so what I decided to do was I went and bought a book. It was like, when you could go down to the bookstores. I went and bought a book. It was like a big, 16-inch picture book of foods that are preventative for cancer. And so I ate all from that book. I ate all the foods that were in there when I was going through it, because I couldn't do, I couldn't take anything or take any supplements or whatever. So I was trying to do it that way. And the other thing, I just recommend watermelon, if you're going through chemotherapy. But chemotherapy is a whole other thing, man. You know what I mean? Imagine, I'm just saying, man, there was a point, I literally, the night before I was going to my chemotherapy, I knew I wasn't going to be the same person the next day that I was. I knew I was going to be different. That was fucking scary, man, that first time. But anyway, here comes this dude. He's a Maverick. All right? The Maverick brain scanner. And I think the only reason we went down that road originally was because we were talking about how many drugs I was taking when I was going through it. And but anyway, here you go. Ready?
Go for it.
All right, here we go. I just hate people thinking I'm, talking about that because I'm complaining or whatever. Hang on a second. I don't know what.
That's the life experience, right? It's and you came out the other side, so it's a positive experience to share.
Well, it's valuable too. It's not irrelevant. It's something that's should matter to people, and not everybody needs to hear it, but the people who do need to hear it.
I seen this dude. There's a video of this homeless dude that comes up and starts rapping to this guy through a window of his car, and he says a lot of really powerful shit. I resonated with a lot of things that he said in that video. It's like a 20-minute video. But one of the things he said, and one of the things I resonated with, was that he was talking to that dude and he was telling him some stuff about life. And he said to him that he was a testament to the power of God by being able to, talk to him and this and that. And that, because of all the shit he had been through or whatever. And when he said that, man, that's what I thought about the show, And I thought that, out of the three of us, all the shit we've been through in our lives, that we're a testament to the power of God. And even though we don't make any money or anything like that, the fact that we show up here and do shows, we're just showing that you can make it, man. You can get through a lot of hard shit and still be here and still, I don't know why this video is not playing.
Yeah, I see the spinning circle. I'm watching it.
Yeah, we were watching the spinning circle too. But no, that's true though. Like the fact, I don't know if people understand that. Like we're not sponsored by anybody. we're just coming out here and talking. And the thing is, we do have life experience we share with you. We share it with you because maybe it's going to matter to somebody else. Maybe it's going to matter to somebody else.
Our imaging work,
what Jimmy just said, is going to matter to somebody else. So, these are the kind of things that make it all worthwhile. I think, when I look back on our, work, if you will, later on, I'll always look back on it and say, well, we did make a difference. We did change.
If you helped one person in a bad situation, then the last 10 years of doing this is completely worth it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
even if you don't know who it was that you helped or what you did,
No, you never do. That's the way it works. That's how life works, right? You never do. You never know what the word is. You never know what the time frame is. You never know what that particular phrase was that changed the world. It just happened because you did it.
in this talk, I'm going to give you the single most important lesson my colleagues and I have learned from looking at 83,000 brain scans. But first, let me put the lesson into context. I am in the middle of 7 children. Growing up, my father called me a maverick, which to him was not a good thing. In 1972, the Army called my number, and I was trained as an infantry medic, where my love of medicine was born. But since I truly hated the idea of being shot at or sleeping in the mud, I got myself retrained as an X-ray technician and developed a passion for medical imaging. As our professors used to say, how do you know unless you look? In 1979, when I was a second-year medical student, someone in my family became seriously suicidal, and I took her to see a wonderful psychiatrist. Over time, I realized that if he helped her, which he did, it would not only save her life, but it would also help her children and even her future grandchildren, as they would be shaped by someone who is happier and more stable. I fell in love with psychiatry because I realized it had the potential to change generations of people. In 1991, I went to my first lecture on brain SPECT imaging. SPECT is a nuclear medicine study that looks at blood flow and activity. It looks at how your brain works. SPECT was presented as a tool to help psychiatrists get more information to help their patients. In that one lecture, my 2 professional loves, medical imaging and psychiatry, came together.
So I just want to reiterate this again. This is 11 years ago. So what I'm saying is, why is what this dude put together not just making a difference?
And quite honestly, revolutionized my life. Over the next 22 years, my colleagues and I would build the world's largest database of brain scans related to behavior on patients from 93 countries. SPECT basically tells us 3 things about the brain: good activity, too little, or too much. Here is a set of healthy SPECT scans. The image on the left shows the outside surface of the brain, and a healthy scan shows full, even, symmetrical activity. The color is not important, it's the shape that matters. In the image on the right, red equals the areas of high activity, and in a healthy brain, they're typically in the back part of the brain. Here is a healthy scan compared to someone who had 2 strokes. You can see the holes of activity. Here's what Alzheimer's looks like, where the back half of the brain is deteriorating. Did you know that Alzheimer's disease actually starts in the brain 30 to 50 years before you have any symptoms? Here's a scan of traumatic brain injury. Your brain is soft and your skull is really hard. Or drug abuse. The real reason not to use drugs? They damage your brain. Obsessive compulsive disorder, where the front part of the brain typically works too hard so that people cannot turn off their thoughts. And epilepsy, where we frequently see areas of increased activity. In 1992, I went to an all-day conference on brain SPECT imaging. It was amazing and mirrored our own early experience using SPECT in psychiatry. But at that same meeting, researchers started to complain loudly that clinical psychiatrists like me should not be doing scans, that they were only for their research. Being a maverick and having clinical experience, I thought that was a really dumb idea. Without imaging, psychiatrists then and even now make diagnoses like they did in 1840 when Abraham Lincoln was depressed, by talking to people and looking for symptom clusters. Imaging was showing us there was a better way. Did you know that psychiatrists are the only medical specialists that virtually never look at the organ they treat? Think about it. Cardiologists look, neurologists look, orthopedic doctors look, virtually every other medical specialties look, psychiatrists guess. Before imaging, I always felt like I was throwing darts in the dark at my patients and had hurt some of them, which horrified me. There is a reason that most psychiatric medications have black box warnings. Give them to the wrong person and you can precipitate a disaster. Early on, our imaging work taught us many important lessons, such as illnesses like ADHD, anxiety, depression, and addictions are not single or simple disorders in the brain. They all have multiple types. For example, here are two patients who have been diagnosed with major depression that had virtually the same symptoms, yet radically different brains. One had really low activity in the brain. The other one had really high activity. How would you ever know what to do for them unless you actually looked? Treatment needs to be tailored to individual brains, not clusters of symptoms. Our imaging work also taught us that mild traumatic brain injury was a major cause of psychiatric illness that ruined people's lives, and virtually no one knew about it because they would see psychiatrists for things like temper problems, anxiety, depression, and insomnia, and they would never look, so they would never know. Here's a scan of a 15-year-old boy who fell down a flight of stairs at the age of 3. And even though he was unconscious for only a few minutes, there was nothing mild about the enduring effect that injury had on this boy's life. When I met him at the age of 15, he had just been kicked out of his 3rd residential treatment program for violence. He needed a brain rehabilitation program, not just more medication thrown at him in the dark or behavior therapy, which, if you think about it, is really cruel. To put him on a behavior therapy program when behavior is really an expression of the problem, it's not the problem. Researchers have found that undiagnosed brain injuries are a major cause of homelessness, drug and alcohol abuse, depression, panic attacks, ADHD, and suicide. We are in for a pending disaster with the hundreds of thousands of soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and virtually no one is looking at the function of their brain. As we continued our work with SPECT, the criticism grew louder, but so did the lessons. Judges and defense attorneys sought our help to understand criminal behavior. To date, we have scanned over 500 convicted felons, including 90 murderers. Our work taught us.
They just jammed us up on YouTube. So they're saying the stream's been temporarily blocked. There it goes.
Yep. You played it too long without talking. That's why.
It's
Dude, I got a strike, not a strike, but a warning.
Hang on.
Yesterday.
Listen. You're not off the air. So when this video plays again, everything you say is going to be on.
No, I know, but that's why I'm saying it.
Go ahead.
Oh shucks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh well. So we're off of live stream, but we're on.
We're being recorded by
Skype.
YouTube, so when it comes back and the
When it
video
comes back, it'll be
plays,
there.
you'll be
And I
there.
was saying, like there's a weird thing going on. I had to log on like 4 times and do all this verification stuff to get on YouTube today, and they banned me for linking Kev Baker's website. I couldn't believe it. what? You know, I mean, I'm upset actually about it, and it just shows there's some weird things going on YouTube right now, and you know, we might have to deal with it later. I guess we have
It's
to figure it
just
out.
bullshit,
because-
man. It's bullshit, man. This is what? There's 50 people here. So, I mean,
Yeah, well,
what the
why,
fuck?
why of all things? Like, why that? Right? Like, of all things,
I'm talking
The
about
TED
this.
content for.
I'm talking
The
about
TED Talks, sometimes they're encoded so that they know that you're replaying them.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
but
whole
but
reason
that's
they
not
put-
the issue. The
that's the
issue
whole
is
reason
that
they
they're doing
put-
it to begin with.
the whole reason they put these up there is so people watch them. You know, so there's no
Yeah.
commercials on here. So
Well,
it's not like they're
it's
missing
not
out.
the TED Talk people themselves. It's YouTube because you're using someone else's content.
Yeah.
That's their,
Well, I don't know, man. It's almost
Yeah, but
it's
that doesn't
it's
explain me
after-
have to go
it's
like, through all
after
these hoops
9.
to log on.
it's after 9 right now anyway. We should just fucking
So,
go.
yeah, it's just insanity. I don't understand what they're doing. I mean, I understand it on the worst aspect of my conspiratorial mind, but I don't understand why that makes sense. You know,
Why does it make
like-
sense that they're blocking Kev Baker's website? I don't know, man.
what the f is that? I mean,
I didn't
it's
even
only
know.
a link
I didn't
in like
even know he
the
had a website.
comment section. It's not even on the. It's not even on the video.
I didn't
It's a
even
link
know.
in the comment section.
I didn't even know he had a website.
Right. So I linked it in the comment section on the video, right? And it got banned.
He has
What?
He has a website.
Well, he did. Yeah. And I linked it on my YouTube channel on the video. It wasn't mentioned in the video. It's just a link in the comment section. And it banned my video. And I'm like, what? What?
Okay,
What?
So listen, it's now I don't have a triangle over here next to the green dot. Now I have a circle with an exclamation
We're back.
point.
We're back live apparently.
Yeah, I know. I have a circle with an exclamation point over here instead of a triangle. So I'm assuming that means that at any given moment, if I play this shit, we're gonna get cut off. But it's already 9 o'clock as it is, so you know we should be getting off anyway. So what I did was I put the link in there, and you can finish watching this yourself. But I mean, it's not the same, I know. But I mean, I can just play it out, okay? And if it gets cut off, then that's it. How about
well, but I wouldn't push your luck because we don't want to get a strike. So
yeah? All right. Well, listen.
yeah, it's an interesting topic, and obviously this guy is onto something. So you know, I would encourage anybody who's interested to keep watching. You know, to find the video and keep watching. I mean,
People
a
who
lot
do
of-
bad things often have troubled brains. That was not a surprise. But what did surprise us was that many of these brains could be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So here's a radical idea.
All right, you ready for the radical idea? I mean, this is the very definition of fair use. We're watching this and we're talking about it.
Yeah. You see it, the reaction.
I mean,
videos all the time
constantly
of people.
talking about it. It's like in the chat, we're talking about it live time. I mean, what else is there to make it fair use? I mean, this is as fair use as it gets.
That's what I'm saying. But see, the thing is, anytime you say anything, like if they say, you know, if they do something and you try to appeal it, it always comes back and they just say no. It's just fuck. Sorry, we've reviewed your situation and no. You know.
What if we
Yeah, no.
evaluated and treated
I'm gonna
troubled
make a song
brains
about
rather
this. I promise our viewers right now, I'll make a song about this. And the song is, I appealed it and they just said no. Yeah, that's it. Watch, 2 weeks from now, it'll be there.
You know, a long time ago. Let's get out of here, man. Listen, I got to come back in the morning and do Wake and Bake. So listen, a long time ago, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Seriously, what did you just say, Epic?
He's making a song. He's gonna write a song.
I'm laughing I was saying I'm gonna make a song about it. I appealed it, and they just said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect line. I mean, it's exactly what we're dealing with these days, and I don't understand why this is a thing. What the hell, man? The free speech economy supposedly is what's coming up. What free speech is there when everything is being monitored by frickin' X? You know, and some wacko dude from South Africa is deciding what we do and don't do anymore. I'm getting pretty pissed about it, so I'm gonna write a song about it.
All right. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. So a long time ago, I made a call, customer service call, for some shit going on with my PayPal. This is a long time ago, but I want to emphasize it. So the bottom line was they shut off my PayPal even though there was money in there, and I was trying to get it fixed. There was some discrepancy with my identity or something, and I was trying to get it fixed, and the dude told me, well, it's not me, it's the computer. In other words, he's just saying, there's nothing I could do. The computer says it's this, so I can't change it. You know what I mean? So, the bottom line is you just throw up your hands and say, oh, it's the computer. Sorry, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they take your money, right? Yeah, sorry, we can't give it back to you.
Yeah, no, they gave it back to me, but this was a long time ago. They've since then cleaned up their act. Their customer service is top notch now. You can call them and get your shit taken care of, but they used to never have anybody there. You couldn't get a hold of anybody. And then when you finally did, it was like you were fucked, man, because the computer said so. I'm sorry, Mr. Customer, you're fucked, but the computer said so. All right. We'll see you tomorrow morning, huh? Yeah.
This is the flashlight that is impossible to drop. Finally, there's a way to work in the dark without holding a flashlight. This innovative wearable gadget makes it easy to see.
I can't hit the fucking button. My mouse
to
doesn't
fumble
work.
with a flashlight.
My mouse changes from a finger to an arrow when I'm trying to mute that. You think that's just me, or you think that's the video? Trying to keep
that's the coding on the YouTube page.
That's what I mean. It's trying to keep me from hitting the mute button.
Yeah, you got to watch the 5 seconds before you're allowed to skip.
It is so fucking. I mean, it is just so heinous the way around every corner. Someone is fucking trying to get you to, listen to some
advertise. Well, even the whole thing with television, right? The entertainment is only there to keep you watching the commercials.
It's like we were just saying. It's like everywhere you turn, there's somebody. They're pumping you with Bernays and Freud, and now it's down to like the microsecond. They're already fucking. Look at, I'll bet you. I don't know. All right, listen, let's get out, man. I got to be here tomorrow, and then I got to go to work on Monday. The weekend's over already.
Yeah, I know. It goes by so fast.
I know. So do you guys. Except the only difference is you don't have to get up and do wake and bake. Well, maybe Rio does.
Rio does.
All right. All right.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. See you guys soon. And I'm telling you, man, I'm not joking. I'm going to write a song about this. That's my protest. Apparently, that's what it was in the 70s and 60s, wasn't it? Protest songs. I guess that's how we're going to do it. We're going to have to fight it this way.
Right on.
Because it's so stupid.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. In the meantime, we'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.
Trouble still